This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and my microphone is not where it needs to be. This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pitstop, where you guys, the pit crew, are the real star of today's show. And I do try to make you guys the star of the show when I can, hopefully through conversation in the chat. And in addition to that, when you guys send me things that are about you, and I like to cover them as much as any other story. So we are here to talk about sim racing, talk about the news and what's going on in the world of sim racing. And I use the word news lightly. For me, I think of us as sim racers first, gamers second. And if it's racing related, sim racing related, I'm going to cover it, and we're going to just move through some stories. And you know, we do talk about a variety, and I know we all have our favorite sims, and I try to not let people be sim racist, but you know, I want to talk about Forza just as much as I talk about Assetto Corsa, because we're all in the same game. We're all sim racers, and we're all hoping for our sport, hobby, common interest to grow. So that's why we do cover it all here, and I hope you're entertained, even if the stories aren't related to necessarily your cup of tea. Starting off with Forza today, but they did have that big ForzaRC event. This is race 3 of the season for those guys, and I guess Lightning took the lead from the very get-go, and then Vanquish was charging, Venom was charging from 8 places back, and then had to fight it out with Vanquish, and it ended up going Lightning, Vanquish, Venom, our top 3 in that race number 3. So good stuff going over there at the Forza World, Forza RC. In addition to that, today we have something new. Codemasters F1 2018. We're really getting our first look, our first sighting of it as Charles Leclerc took the sim out. So this is on YouTube. I found it via the Formula 1 game is what they're calling their Twitter feed now. And Charles Leclerc doing a Monaco gameplay, which is very relevant because that's where they currently are. So right here, what we're seeing here is really our first look at actual footage of F1 2018 that I can think of. You can see the halo. And I don't know any of you super aficionados of the world of F1 2017 might be able to see... I saw that, Tom. Yes, this one... Yeah, it's going to cost me $1.50. That made me mad. I thought I had it lined up perfectly, but apparently not. Anyway, those who play this a lot will be able to see the little fine differences between the 17 and 18 version of the sim/game. And we can see he's just using some Logitech gear there. Charles Leclerc of the Alfa Romeo team at Monaco. WRC... I just want to show this because we actually talk about their events often. If you go to, it's actually at eSport, eSports, WRC.com/rally, blah, blah, blah. You will find, you can actually get the overall results in what's going on. So here are the overall results from the rally to Portugal with Subi winning, Armstrong in second, Carjono in third. And if you want to follow that, you can also find the championship standings with Subi leading there. And you can see all the events they've been through. They have the flag, the nation's colors of all of the different events they've had so far. Looks like we have Italy coming up next. So Subi does lead by quite a bit, 181 over 153 to Nexel. And TX3, look at TX3, Nexel. I can't even say some of these names. They're so ridiculous. I don't know what that is. GT Kurzball, Scallop Fox, Rares, Speed Booster. So some good teamwork going on by them. Wed, I don't know that team, but they're also all over with Subi, Armstrong, Greekman, Komatsu. So I suppose if you want to get really good at the WRC, those are the 2 teams you really need to follow to get up to speed. Codemasters also not on the F1 2018 side of things, but on the other side of things, they have, they're calling it the Onrush transmission, and it's back, and they're giving you some things about Onrush, such as game modes, multi-layered track design, and vehicle handling. You can find that at the Codemasters, oh, is that right? Anyway, you can find out more about that at the Codemasters Twitter feed. Big news out of iRacing. We knew this was coming. We talked about Belle Isle And yesterday, this came out right after, I almost said dropped, just to be hipped. This came out just after the show yesterday, but it's a great look at the new 911 RSR. And to people who are not huge Porsche aficionados, you might just think, oh, it looks like a GT3. If you put that right next to a GT3, it is not just a GT3. The RSR is you can see the cutaway flared out fenders, much more that like Le Mans style look to it than the GT3 or the Cup car, which is a simpler version of the Porsche. But that is our first taste of the new Porsche coming to iRacing on the 5th. I think it's coming out on the 5th, either the 3rd or the 5th. I think it's the 5th of June. Dakar, back at it again, 2 days in a row, showing us rain effects, the big Red Bull, is that like a gas truck? What kind of, anyone know the purpose of this vehicle? I love the big machines as they put it racing. Does anyone know what this type of vehicle is actually used for in real life? So, there you go. Stu, I don't know. That's a great question. That's a great question about WRC. When I went to play WRC, I couldn't even map multiple controllers, I believe. I believe I bought WRC and then went to play it, and it wouldn't let me use, I was using my Leo Bodner wheel at the time with my Ricmotech pedals, and it did not allow me to map 2 controllers. So I would have to use the drive hub, which I haven't busted out on just yet, but one answer would be using the drive hub so I can maybe combine them. And then the other option would be putting on a different wheel just to test it. But I would imagine that means you pretty much have to use your button for e-brake. You want to talk about that new McLaren wheel rim from Fanatic. You could map one of the extra levers to do that. Yeah, well, and this one's going to get torn down, so I'm short one more now. What do you know? We did mention, but it is out today, in addition to a few other things that did come out with the sidecar, so you can be the monkey. We talked about the 3 different game modes that you can play it in, so a lot of you probably already have. I know a lot of you do, because 6 of my friends on Steam also play TT Isle of Man. Anyway, there are some patch notes. If you go to TT Isle of Man on Twitter, you can find out the details, other game mode things that were, some glitches and crashes that were reported by the community, things like that, in addition to the sidecar, which is free DLC, by the way. So if you own it on Steam, PS4 or Xbox One, you should be able to get that content free immediately, as of now. Crew 2, their closed beta, which starts May 31st through June 3rd, is open. So if you want to, get over to thecrew-game.ubisoft.com. That's thecrew-game.ubisoft.com. You'll find a link to it at the Crew Twitter feed. So if you want to get in and play the Crew early and be part of their beta, seems like all you have to do is sign up and get out there. Someone check it out. I don't think I'm gonna have, I should do it. I should. We'll see. But if you do it, let me know. Get me some video or get me your thoughts. Let me know. GT Planet has a cool story here, talking about 9 new cars coming to GT Sport next week. So we can look at the photo and play the old can you guess what they are game. Is this the one that I can blow up? Nope. Shoot. That's as big as we're going to get. So what do we see here? Looks like some kind of a... It's not a Mini Cooper. It's a different shape. Looks a little more French than a Mini Cooper, this one in the middle. That looks kind of McLaren shape with a slim nose. This looks like a Jaguar to me. Correct me if I'm wrong. This looks like a Mazda 3. I'm guessing that's a variation of a Nissan Skyline. Maybe, nah, that might be a Mitsubishi Lancer. You guys enjoy this fun? You'll find this at GT Planet. They have the article on GT Sports' next content update that is on the way at the... don't have the exact date. Nope, I don't have an exact date. Sorry about that. Fiat 500, that's what it is. Fiat 500. Thank you, Stu. Tyrone, well done. Can I make out any of this one they're really being careful with? Okay, that's enough of that fun. You guys let me know. Yeah, the middle one, that's the Fiat 500. We're not going to talk about FA Racing. Orlane Mallet up on the leaderboard at Forza Rally Championship once again. Thrustmaster is going to start selling in the Chinese market. So the Ferrari licensed racing wheels are going to be available in China. So any of our Chinese viewers out there, you guys now can take advantage of that and get some quality gear from Thrustmaster. TechSpot has an article from Google about Google and LG unveiling a 1443 ppi OLED. Why is it called an OLED? Isn't it an LED? You don't call it a LED TV when you are buying an LED TV. Why is that OLED? They say OLED. They don't say OLED. I guess that's hard to say. Display designed for VR. So they're talking about really good 120 hertz refresh rate, monster pixels. I mean, 1443 is high resolution, and this could be a very big deal. I get asked every single day. Effin' Racing? No, I think it stands for Fernando Alonso. Anyway, I get asked every day about VR and my opinions on it, why I don't run it. And the bottom line is I love VR, but I don't really love the results that it's currently at. It's not good enough resolution. It's still hot. It's still heavy. It's still little things. It's still not getting fully integrated into everything. Next gen, though, it's going to be hard to not use VR. I can tell you that already. Organic LED. Is that what it really means? It's healthier. Does that mean I can eat it? Okay, so, Girls in Gaming Summit. So here in Los Angeles, there was a summit that went on about the topic of girls in gaming. We talked a week or so ago about some of the most influential women in gaming, and there are a good handful that are working their way, shattering the glass ceiling, and women, you know, women gamers are a lot more prevalent than we actually think, and maybe not in the arenas that we play every day, but it is very, girls are a huge percentage of the market, not just a little percentage of the market. So this summit went on, and it was just them talking about the future of girls gaming, and of course it led to some sexist type comments about, well, why isn't there a guys gaming summit? And it's like, well, there kind of is. Everyone that's ever existed prior to this one, if you really think about it. I mean, we never exclude women, but anyway, fair enough that they have this, and it just shows you that the women are coming. So don't be surprised if the next time you lose a race or get shot on the battlefield that it was a girl who took you out. I mentioned this once again. I'll just mention it just because it just released. So Slipstream, that retro styled, they're calling this more of a Outrun than a Daytona USA. But that just came out on Steam. You can find that over there. Not very big. Also, here's a real review from Punk and Lizard on Horizon Chase Turbo. Another one of those old school gamers. Look at the DeLorean. Ferrari, Toyota, that's the 86. The original 86, not the new. Mustang, Mercedes, NSX. So anyway, another old school gamer that's out. You can read that review if you're interested. PC Gamer talking about a great deal on, and this is for today only, posted 17 hours ago. So by my math, that is 7 hours to go. That could have been a couple hours ago when I pulled this story up. So it might be down to 5 hours, but EVGA 299 for the win, K. Motherboard regularly is $280, and right now it's on sale for, like I said, 5 more hours for $170. So if you're looking for a good deal on a motherboard, EVGA is a pretty darn good company there. MSI is selling a gaming desktop with a Core i7-8700 and a GTX 1070 Ti for $1,550. Plug-in, ready to go, everything you need in a pretty good-looking case. Actually, I'll bet that's a sticker, not lights. Who knows? But it sounds like a good deal. Same desktop sells for $16.99 at Amazon. So that is about $140 off by my count, my quick math. If you're looking for a system and you don't want to build your own, you know, my opinion on computers is a lot like my opinion on rigs. And there are those who are better off buying, and there are those who are better off building. And, you know, different strokes for different folks. Same thing with computers. I think there are those who should probably just never bother with the headache and frustration that can come with it. Same thing with building your own rig. But on the other hand, you get a little more pleasure, a little more satisfaction, and a lot more knowledge and wisdom of what it takes. So, another article at True Achievements. This is the most detail, and I'm only going to mention it very quickly on the game Descenders. It's racing, so I mention it. It's mountain biking, so I mention it. And, so here, oh, come on, refresh. It had some better images. We actually saw, like, the arena where you pick your thing. You start off by equipping your guy. They got a trials mission. Come on, pictures. They had a map. Oh, better picture of the actual gameplay. You know, you think about mountain biking, especially on a descending game. With descending, you can eliminate the endurance factor a little bit. And then it becomes just like real-life racing, stage racing, like rally racing to an extent. The need to know your track, to hit your apexes, hit your braking points, hit your acceleration points. And the same is true in bicycle racing, even more so in the descent game, because it's not nearly as aerobic as like the Tour de France where you're climbing and it becomes an aerobic sport. Not to say there isn't aerobics in downhill, there certainly is, but ultimately, I think you understand what I'm talking about. Over at drivingitalia.net, I have this up on Google Translate, but MotoGP 18 is getting their eSport. So I didn't even remember talking about or knowing that there was a MotoGP eSport championship for 2017, but apparently there was, and they have extended that. There's also an article at worthplaying.com talking about the same thing. Here is last year's champion, I'm assuming. So there will be a continuation or a 2018 version of that, and we're going to be finding out more and more about that, and hopefully some of you guys will get involved in that competition. This leads to my big confusion. You know, they have made this whole F1 eSport thing, like, way more complicated than it needs to be. And I only say that, sure, I could probably go read every rule and know exactly what's going on, but I don't know if I have the time for that, and I don't know if you have the time for that, and I don't think it should be that hard to absorb what's going on. But I cover the eSport things, and then every once in a while they're like, oh, these 3 drivers have locked in the spots for the draft. But then I think of the draft, and it's like, well, wasn't it an open draft or something along those lines? And then weren't all these teams going to be doing their own? Well, now Renault has entered the eSports scene, and they've done it by joining forces with Team Vitality. And I think we might have covered this before, but there's another article, so I bring it up again. This is at Fandom Fair. It's also... No, it leads to that other story. We're going to get to that one in a moment. So they're working with an existing team. Existing teams already have their drivers, their players, their gamers, whatever you want to say. What about the draft? Are those guys going to then join with the other guys, and it's going to be like multiple teams? I don't know. They talk about they are in discussion with F1 to compete in the Formula 1 eSports series. Well, okay, is Renault... Someone help me out. No, Renault is not in F1 as Renault. So this would be them trying to be included in addition to... Please forgive me. Here are the drivers that are going to be there. Oh, those are the Rocket League drivers right there, because they're also going to do Rocket League, which is also part of what we're talking about. But the best part about it, now let me get off my rant. Oh, I see somebody just throw something into the chat. Jesse, oh no, new city skyline expansion. I can't have that. Oh, what am I going to do? Downhill is partially more demanding than Tour de France stuff. Well, I think it depends on how you measure, Quirtreber. Downhill is more technical than Tour de France stuff. You will not get me to admit or say that downhill is more demanding physically than climbing the Alpe d'Huez. No. Anyway, thank you, Jesse. Yeah, no race tonight. I'm going to be playing cities instead. Oh, no, 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 no. Anyway, this leads to my next story, though, which I do love, and I want you guys to pay attention to, because this might be a tell a friend. Any of you guys know an alien driver tuner type? Any of you know an Atzi Kirchhoff, a Rudy Van Buren, a Mitchie Hoyer type? You go tell them, because Renault is looking for a senior simulation software engineer. So I don't know exactly. They have the full description of the role, being a software engineer, which is way over my head. Don't know how much of this is going to be coding stuff versus like what a lot of the guys I named are more the drivers for it. But Renault is hiring for a senior simulation software engineer. And maybe some of you guys apply, some of you engineering type. I think it's over the driver level. It's not really the Atzi, Rudy, Mitchie type job. But it is a software job for Renault. This is an interesting story. And I want you guys to not get out of hand with your comments on this. I want you to give it a little bit of respect. Microsoft partners with the Special Olympics for an eSport event. So there is going to be an eSport event within the Special Olympics, and they're going to run Forza Motorsport 7. I think that is great. If we're going to start seeing eSport being added to the real Olympics, if we're going to start seeing eSport added to colleges for scholarships and potential college versus college eSport type events, then it belongs there as well. And I think Forza Motorsport 7 is the perfect game. I mean, in this they say, rather than playing a first-person shooter like Fortnite, well, maybe that's sending the wrong message at the Special Olympics. But congratulations to Microsoft for doing that. Congratulations for the eSport world and Special Olympics. I think that's great. We talked about poker, and some of you guys mentioned that a few of the World Series of Poker guys are like avid gamers and vice versa. Unibet, which is the second biggest online gambling site there is, has joined forces with Hot Ted 89, Alan Hot Ted 89 Wildman, and he is now an ambassador for Unibet and working on the whole merge into the eSport world, as they put in this article, which is at Gambling 911. The relationship illustrates a growing marriage between poker and eSport. I was blown away by that, but you guys were not, so that is great. Last news topic of the day, and this one I do want to open up to debate, and I know a few of you are going to chime in, and I want your thoughts and opinion, and if you want to just make it a sexist comment, that's one way of doing it, but let's try to keep it to real facts, real reasoning. As retirement approaches, as we know she has one race left in her career, is Danica Patrick a Hall of Famer? I know that Jeff Gordon leads the ballots right now for the 2018 inductees into the Hall of Fame. So my question to you is, what do you think? And if you go to the Hall of Fame for any sport that's out there, it isn't always the most accomplished. It isn't always the 6-time champions or the world record holders. Sometimes it's the people who were influential. Sometimes it's the people who broke barriers. Sometimes it's just the people who had a major impact on the sport. So I am going to leave my opinion left unknown. I am a huge Danica Patrick fan. Hall of Fame, to me, is something that should not be taken lightly. And in fact, in general, I don't know if I agree with the whole concept that every year they have to have a bunch of inductees into every Hall of Fame. It means that their standards are based on time, not achievement. And I think the original intention of a Hall of Fame was to only focus on the people that really changed or had a huge effect, not just these are the 2018 inductees. So I don't know if I think, because Danica didn't really break the ceiling. There have been plenty of women racers before, and there will be plenty of race, but I don't think there's any argument she's the most successful, most known, merchandising the most money that racing has ever seen from a woman. And maybe one of the most accomplished. You could make that argument. Anyway, I thought this was a great article, and I thought it was a great conversation, and we can use Danica Patrick as our example. But whether we're talking about, yeah, just like you said there, John, rock and roll, and I'm not judging John Bon Jovi. I'm just saying they start getting in this mode where these things think they just need to keep doing it automatic. And it's like, this isn't the Academy Awards. This isn't the end of the season awards banquet. This is the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame, which means you should be remembered forever in that sport that we're talking about. And I don't care if you're talking baseball, basketball, football, soccer, football, auto racing. To me, it should be a very, very, very high standard. And as much as I do love Danica Patrick, as much as she has been so many things that we could say, make her a consideration. And I think that's why this is being brought up by me today. So anyway, I just like to throw some food for thought. I appreciate that you guys gave good constructive arguments, both pro and con, for Danica. And it didn't just turn into a Danica bashing, which can sometimes happen. Which also, to an extent, has to be thrown in the argument for. Anyway, okay, in the end, I don't really think she deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but I do think that she was worthy of consideration. How's that? I like that. I think I can live with that. Beyond that, Spatial here in the chat threw down another challenge, so he's going to keep throwing down these challenges. And as long as he does, I'm going to keep throwing them to you guys because I want more of these. So in Project Cars, Battle of the 488 challenge, and Spatial is sitting with a rank right now of only 343, so he's made himself a pretty easy target. And it looks like we have a 147.950 is his lap time in the Ferrari. So the Battle of the 488 challenge, which runs now through June 4th. See if you can take down Spatial. If you do, send me an image. Show me what you're up to and how you're taking on our leaderboard challenges. And, let's see. I can't get that one in time, Tom. I'm sorry. We'll try to get that one tomorrow. I have another one from Tom Jones, but it'll be hard to bring it up right away. And that takes me to my very, very, very last topic of the day, which is tonight's race at Nordschleife. So 2 nights in a row, I've done videos, why do I suck so bad at Nordschleife? And on night 1, I crashed 8 cars, I think. And last night, I was down to only 3. So I think I went, and I improved my lap time to an 8:08, which is like 6 seconds faster than 5 seconds faster than I was running before. So I've upgraded myself from why do I suck to why am I mediocre at Nordschleife. But that's as good as it's going to get. So tonight, I'm going to have a 1-hour race at Nordschleife. In the Porsche 911 RSR on Sim Racing System, and that'll be here at 6 o'clock this evening. It should be a fun race. I'm going to have to take it down a notch in order to complete the race, because I have yet to finish more than 3 laps in one run, and I need to do 8 tonight. Very funny, Tom. No, I love it. You will not, any complaint I have of failure at Nordschleife is my own doing. And my last thing I'll say before I finish this race, and I say this to everybody out there who sim races, but I'm mainly saying it to our guys today. You guys, this track is forever. You know, it's 8.5 minutes around. There is all sorts of time to get the job done. There is going to be all sorts of problem. You do not have to make a single pass unless it's just wide open to you. Please, let's not crash things on the GP circuit. Can we please get clean all the way to the Nordschleife, and then things will get stretched out and we can get down to racing. But of all the tracks in the world, I just think, gosh, 8 minutes a lap, and I can see our group having carnage on lap 1, turn 1. So let's take it easy. Let's respect the race and the conditions. And you know, that's my little warning to everybody for any race that you're going to be doing anytime coming up. We gotta learn to get through turn 1, guys. I know they do it in the real life too, but you know, it really discourages people sometimes. You put a lot of work in, and you're ready for a race. you're ready to do 8 laps, and somebody takes you out in turn 1. Anyway, that is the end. Yeah, caution is the word of the day. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for another great show. Loved hanging out with you guys every morning, talking about sim racing, gaming, and everything that we care about. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.